Thanks, Denis. So I've got a couple of prepared questions, but we also want questions from you all right now. So why don't we just start? So at the Intel Experience Day that was in Toronto last week, there were tons of examples of IoT deployments, cool AR, VR, gaming, of course. Talk to us a little bit from, not Intel's point of view, but you as a technologist, having been with Intel, seen developments over these. What are you personally most excited about? What do you think is going to have the biggest impact? Could be on corporations, but maybe on us as individuals in Canadian society. Which of these 6 technologies that you talked about earlier do you think is going to have the biggest impact?
Okay, that's a good question. So basically, myself, where I get the most excited about is really the augmented reality, the one I share with you. So I know a lot of people talk about AI, so I think it's super cool. We know it will be all part of our life. It's already part of our life. We don't really notice it. But I think to me, with the augmented reality, just imagine if you can have, let's say, Wikipedia or Google or whatever, the web accessible to you, whether it's the general web or specific piece of information for your work, and have that accessible to you real time in your eyes, right? Whatever the device you have, what is, because we're moving to that fusion of digital, physical, and biological at one point, maybe not in the 10 next year. So that means maybe at first will be kind of special glasses, but something not that much intrusive, and it will go to be in you. So how much information you will have when it's on top. To me, it will completely transform, not just like training, how we work and how we interact with people will be, that's pretty exciting. So, and imagine the network, the backend, and everything that will be needed in the background to provide that kind of technology. So that's one I feel. It's not for tomorrow. In the 5, I think probably that one and blockchain, when it's become mainstream, I think are like close together. But so that's the one I'm super excited about.
So one thing that we hear a lot about is 5G, right? Everybody talks about 5G right now. There's a lot of hype about it, and we know that telcos are slowly building this out and it will be coming. From your point of view and Intel's point of view, what will 5G change?
It's a good question. So a lot of people say it's just another G, will be faster. So I think we'll change a lot of things. So the way I see 5G, and I think will change organization, is the ability of the network. Is there anyone from the telecom industry or communication space? Okay, I'm going to say that guy has no idea what he's saying. So because they may have other example, right? So the way I see right now, as you know, if you're a telco provider, like worldwide, whether you're in France, in India, in China, or here in Canada, so your network is operating what we call fixed function. So you have dedicated box that do a special function, whether it's routing, switching, or IDS, or load balancing, whatever is the function of the network, whether it's from the access network, the core network, the backend network. So they have fixed function box, and when they want to add the capability, they have to add a new box, so it's super manual, so that means the network cannot really evolve when there's a new use case that's present or something new that appears. IoT, blockchain, or whatever. So they have to redo the network. So with 5G, the big things that all the carriers are going on right now is to transform the network to what all of you went through when you transform the compute of your data center through virtualization, where you can have one box and that box can do anything, it's just software based. So they're doing the same thing for the network, so the core network and the edge. So basically they will have, let's say you have a cell tower. Right now they have a bunch of boxes of every colors that do all different functions. So one of the box has an issue, they go with a truck, they need to have that specific box without saying any name on the truck to fix it. So when they virtualize everything, the compute, the network, and the storage, and from a telecom equipment manufacturer point of view, they put whatever box, everything is software, all automated and orchestrated like we see on the data center right now. So that means they can evolve their network in adding what I was saying, GPU, FPGA, whatever they need to compute. And at the end of the day, sorry, again, Celine. So for us as consumer, what that mean? So with that, like edge computings and all those workload, if you're watching a series at home right now, you're watching, I don't know, Friends, and you're watching that over Netflix or Amazon or whoever the service you use. Right now, all that data is streamed from a Netflix data center somewhere that's close to you, probably maybe in your city or maybe in your country, right? That's pretty much where they go. That's kind of clog all the network of the carriers and don't give you the super experience, so maybe it won't be that good, the quality. With that evolution in the network, they will be able to reconfigure the network automatically, and that content move to in your neighbor where a bunch of people are watching Friends for whatever reason. The kids were talking about that at school. So, and that network is all, so no more clogging of the network, all is distributed locally and happen automatically. Same thing if you're watching a hockey game, on your phone there's the big, who's from Toronto? Okay, Montreal? Yeah. Okay, good. Let's say the Avs have, well, let's say the reality, have their ass kicked by the Leafs, right? It's in playoff, we're watching on our cell phone. Right now, if they want to provide more encoding, decoding, they have to put more bucks. And when that's done, they don't use those bucks anymore. They're like, they were there just for the peak and that's it. So with virtualization of that network, now they can use any of those bucks, so, and use them for encoding and decoding, give you a super experience, and when it's done, they use them for something else. So it gives a lot of flexibility, so that for us as a user organizations, will open up new services that we have hard time to understand that we will be able to use, whether it's because lower latency, more computing capacity, or more adaptability of the network.
All right, so why don't we take a couple of questions here. Anybody who wants to ask a question or comment over here?
So we hear a lot, again, Paul Panelides from Zebra. We hear a lot about manufacturers doing their own chipsets, like Apple did their own chipset for the computers, and Elon Musk did the same thing for virtualization of his cars. How does that affect your business model?
Okay, that's a good question. So that's something that we see in the industry right now, and was expected. I would say that we see diversification of people because more compute are needed. So we not only see, I would say, other companies looking at doing their own chipset or CPU, but also some countries or nations are looking at that options. So at Intel, we see that. I personally, I don't like to use a competition. I prefer to use a rival. So because I feel it's more like, hey, they're there to make us better. So and for us, we see it as a new source of inspiration to be better in what we do. And like I say, the playing field is way bigger than we used to, and there's way more competitors that we're going to see. So it's all good, and we'll just have to be better than anyone else. So at the end of the day, so.
Other questions?
Yes.
Yeah, over here.
Hi, I'm Carrie Covent from Canadian Tire. You spoke earlier about investing on upskilling your workforce, and I'm curious how your company is doing that.
Okay, so thank you for your question. So basically, right now there's different ways that we're doing it. So as any organization, we have a lot of, I would say, internal tools that are built, whether it's like Intel University or like any organization has that. But we find out that despite all the tools that are available, so there's not a lot of people that are using as we were expecting. So what we have done since last year as part of our culture transformation is we used to reward people based on the result that we're getting, whether they're like people, engineer in my team developing a product in Toronto, or salespeople based on this. So we're really performance metric-based organizations, and how you deliver those results and how you continue to improve yourself, up to you. Was mostly, if you get what we expect from you, we're good with that, and we're going to reward you for that. Part of our cultural transformation now, how you win is as important as what you win, and also how you develop yourself is part of the 3 criteria that we have now. So basically at the end of the year, when I will evaluate someone in my team, I'll say, did you deliver what I was expecting from you? Yes. How did you deliver that? Did you deliver based on our new cultural pillars that we have? Okay, yes. And did you improve and develop yourself? No, not good. So you may get your commission, but as far as whether it's stock or the different tools that we have, you won't get it because we want our people. It's a matter of survival for us that our people get better, not just what they do, but other things that they have to do. So that's how we do it.
That's a good point, right? Skill. In fact, at the Intel Experience Day, Kevin Pieska from Microsoft was present, and he shared that at Microsoft Canada, they have now instituted, for the same reasons, every month they have a skills day where management has blocked one day of every Microsoft Canada employee's calendar. And that is for you to use to improve your skills, whether it's through courses, through Microsoft University or LinkedIn that they own, or any other way to improve your skills. But that is blocked by management, one day a month. And to me, that's an amazing amount of commitment from management. That's probably not going to happen in the majority of companies. But that's quite a clear commitment on the part of management to the employees that they don't have to dedicate their personal time to improving their skills. And the main objective that we always get is, I don't have time, I have operating responsibilities, I have to deliver. So here's somebody who's taking an initiative. And we'll see how all of that pans out, but it's just a great example of putting that. Other questions here? Otherwise, we've got a question back.
I just want to recognize this is Denis' hat trick. This is his third time here. So, the thing that I take from the first time you spoke when we were at Mont Tremblant is that you consistently talk about people. And I think it's critically important now when we're talking about automation, we're talking about skill set, of how organizations don't let too much of a gap be created as a business is trying to transform. You guys did just announce, though, you're talking about 6G in China. And what I want to know from you is, how do you keep where people come to conferences and see what's next in 2030 or 35? How do you keep internally that message that, we want to innovate, but we don't want to go too far where, some of these organizations can't keep up? So what's the internal message? As you're talking as a futurist and a technologist, how do you almost tell these folks, when you go back, everyone's not going to drive a Tesla, right? So how do you temper that worry for these organizations going home saying, we don't want to seem stale?
Yeah, so that's a good comment. So one thing we use at Intel, we always use the motto, like others are talking about the future. At Intel, we're building it. So we try to show, like, down the road, what are long-term things that we see, like mid-term, like I say, like here 10 years, and we bring it to, here's the next year and the year after, things that you should be starting to deploy in organizations and that you can really act upon on. So, and from a technology or product point of view, because nothing will happen. Suddenly you're still, using like mainframe and doing nothing and saying, now I want to putting everything in the cloud and everything. So that will be too much of a shock. So we kind of lay out that roadmap that organization can go and transform. But I like your point you mentioned. At the end of the day, it's all about the people, because whatever technology you have, it's all about the people. And one thing I really like about Canada, you mentioned that the few years I spent like talking with government around the world. When I was doing that role, one of the, I would say the tool we used to evaluate government, where they were on their digital transformation journey. I'm sure you have read, like, Estonia is probably the most advanced country in the world as far as they're doing, and nobody, who the hell is Estonia, right? So they used to be part of Russia. When they were let go, I think like late 80s, early 90s, they had nothing. They start from scratch. And they had a super young president who said, you know what, we have nothing. Why we don't start with internet from the get-go, everything? And so you can do everything online. And when I say everything, is vote, healthcare, everything with that citizen card. Anyway, without going into detail, but when we look at the evaluation, their infrastructures, their human capital, how you develop, like the laws and regulation favoring, helping ICT, the government infrastructures, the digital economy, the security and privacy and all that stuff. And there's the last element is what I call the smart living. So because in the near future, so the natural resource is not, if you get, like in my hometown, a lot of hydroelectric power, why Alcoa is going there. It's the people. And the people we know now, they have the choice because we don't have enough people in pretty much everywhere around the world. And talented people go where they want, and they will go a place where it's good country, good living, good education. And Canada, if you travel a little bit, you ask, oh my God, you come from Canada? People love Canada. It's a good place to be. And that means we can draw a lot of good natural resource, which is people. So if we do our things right, so we have a super bright future as a country because we can attract a lot of very talented people in the country. So, yeah.
That's a fantastic final thought there.
Thank
Smart
you.
living. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That's great.
Thank you.
All right.